The attack by the far leftist on the governor of Pennsylvania's mansion is now been determined to be an act of anti-Semitism. According to the police warrant, the man said that he was upset over what the governor wanted to do to the Palestinian people. Now, some people are already coming out and saying, BS. This dude had his home foreclosed on and auctioned off by the state. That's what he was mad about. But choose to believe what you want. I ain't here to tell you. I'm only going to tell you what it actually says in the warrant. And then you make up your own mind on why you think that is. But I think there's a strong reason to say these far leftists, this guy who says he was a registered socialist, and with the anti-Israel sentiment bubbling up in this country, I am not surprised to see this, to see it happening. Now, it does look like this guy, as with many other people, is just a crazy person. The left has a lot of those crazy people. I don't know what the governor of PA was going to do specifically, but I think you guys may recall this. Let me see if I can pull this up. When the governor, Josh Shapiro, was blasted for signing missiles alongside Zelensky. Let me pull this one up. This is Josh Shapiro blasted for signing missile alongside Zelensky. You must do our part. And this is a big story that got people a lot of angry. Got people pretty pissed off. But this isn't anything to do with Israel. So I'm wondering, how does this even make sense? Well, let me read this story for you. We'll break it down. The New York Post reports, the madman who carried out a firebomb attack in Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's home was driven by anti-Semitism and fury over what the Democrat wants to do to the Palestinian people. And what is that? Has Josh Shapiro come out and been an advocate on this? Alleged firebug Cody Balmer, 38, called 911 following the Sunday attack, identified himself by name, and delivered the chilling message addressed to the governor over the phone, according to the warrant obtained by Penn Live. Balmer said he needed to know that Shapiro, who is Jewish and had posted Passover dinner just hours before, quote, will not take part in his plans for what he wants to do to the Palestinian people, the police warrant read, according to the outlet. Interesting. He said, you all know where to find me. I'm not hiding, and I will confess to everything that I had done, Balmer allegedly told a 911 operator over the phone, according to the warrant. State police said the accused arsonist targeted the Democratic governor based upon perceived injustices to the people of Palestine, as well as his Jewish faith, the warrant states. Shapiro, 51, has been a strong supporter of Israel and criticized anti-Israel protests in his state, calling the targeting of Jewish businesses blatant anti-Semitism. The state poll also said he supports a two-state solution, wants Palestinian Jewish people to live in peace. Is that what the guy's really angry about, I guess? He wants, honestly, I think a lot of these activists want the entirety of Israel to be Palestine. They say his Jewish faith became the focus of national attention when he was reported to be one of the top choices to be Kamala Harris's running mate. Many anti-Israel activists in the Democratic Party opposed him being picked. And largely, I think the reason he wasn't picked, though I believe he turned her down, that's the reporting. But I believe a large component of this was Democrats feared they would lose Michigan because of the large Muslim population if they chose a Jewish vice president. They say that police said Balmer scaled a fence, used a hammer to break a window, and hurled Molotov cocktails into the historic governor's residence as Shapiro and his family slept around 2 a.m. Sunday. He allegedly told cops he made the Molotov cocktails out of Heineken bottles and gasoline from a lawnmower. The governor and his family were able to safely evacuate, but the homemade incendiary devices caused millions of dollars in damage to the state-owned mansion. I just got a question. How is it possible? Answer me this, guys, in the comments. Sincerely, I mean it. How is this possible? Look, I've seen way less important people, way less important locations with way better security. Something went wrong here that a guy was able to scale a fence, break a window, and throw in incendiary devices and then escape the scene. This is the governor's mansion. Is there no security surrounding this place? That's wild. The sicko allegedly said he would have beaten Shapiro with a hammer if he'd found him during the firebombing attack, according to a criminal complaint. Pennsylvania State Police obtained warrants for Balmer's parents' home, where he was living, for electronic devices and for a storage unit, according to Penn Live. Investigators did not find any references to Israel, Palestine, or the governor in the storage unit, according to the report. Still, the alleged arsonist has had previous run-ins with the law. Balmer was out on bail for a simple assault charge at the time of the attack, accused of stomping on his 10-year-old son's broken leg and battering his estranged wife, according to a police report. Jeez, man. I mean, look, we get it. These people are nuts, but that is nuts. Family members attempted to have him committed to a mental institution in the days prior to the arson attack. Mother Christy Balmer told CBS News that her son was mentally ill and he went off his medication prior to the firebombing. The worried mother went so far as to reach out to Pembroke Borough Police 2 days before the attack to ask for help after her son had left their home and vanished. Christy Balmer was told by police they couldn't intervene because the 38-year-old hadn't made a threat against himself or others, which is the threshold for involuntary commitment in the state of Pennsylvania. Balmer had wrapped his phone in aluminum foil to prevent it from receiving signals in the days before the attack, search warrants revealed, or sending them. The alleged arsonist turned himself in to police at state headquarters in Harrisburg on Sunday. As he was led out of the Pennsylvania District Court Monday, Balmer taunted reporters, sticking his tongue out and making faces at photographers. He has been charged with 8 crimes, including attempted murder, burglary, aggravated arson, and terrorism. He faced up to 100 years in prison. The dude was sleeping in there with his family. Dauphin County District Attorney Fran Chardo has not said whether Balmer will face charges of ethnic intimidation, the state's version of hate crime statutes. No one was injured in the attack, and Shapiro vowed to remain undaunted in the wake of the jarring incident. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours, we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover, Shapiro said in a statement after the arson attack. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the current state of leftism, of the Democrats. Now, this guy was a Democrat, but look at the political landscape in the last election. There were concerns. I didn't make it up. It's not my opinion. There were top political pundits saying Shapiro can't be the VP. He's Jewish. They'll lose Michigan. They can't afford to. In Dearborn, a large Muslim population will vote against them simply because of that fact. And the left has been staunchly anti-Israel. Now, you're allowed to be anti-Israel. By all means, criticize governments and militaries and criticize war. I hear you. But you know, and it's a fact, that an element of this contingent just hate Jews. I am not sitting here saying that all criticism of Israel is anti-Semitism. Absolutely not. Though certainly that's the insinuation from the IHRA. But when these people at the protests across these universities were set up, there were instances where simply by being Jewish, students got attacked. So whether or not you want to argue that there is there's a difference between the two, fine. But certainly there are people who hate Israel and blame Jews, or as they would refer to all of them as Zionists, if they have the Star of David. People like this. Now, some people are suggesting it's a false flag. And I would say, look, Occam's razor, show me the evidence. This guy's clearly insane. And we know the left has been fomenting terrorism and violence. Certainly, some people are arguing, how did this crazy guy get past all the security at the governor's mansion? That seems nuts. One crazy guy with no real plan jumped the fence. Nobody stopped him, and he was able to escape the scene, where he later called the police to turn himself in. I get it. That's a crazy story. But I would say right now, in the absence of evidence, the solution that makes the least amount of assumptions tends to be correct. And that is, we know many on the left hate Israel. And we know that a cohort within this blame all Jews. I think there are people who legitimately have criticisms of Israel. And I think there are people who don't care about Israel, but literally just hate Jews, for which that gets bundled in. This guy seems to be influenced by the left and mentally disturbed. So I'll put it this way. When you go on TV, Colbert, Kimmel, Daily Show, and you celebrate, cheer, and laugh about acts of terrorism, largely the Tesla stuff, when Bill Burr comes out and cheers Free Luigi over and over again, and Taylor Lorenz says he was morally good, or that women view him as morally good. To be fair, when Taylor Lorenz, she said there are women she was asked about women outside the courtroom, and she said these women are saying he's handsome, he's morally good. She's saying that's how they view it. To be fair, she didn't say she was saying that, but I think we all understand her sentiment is that she does defend the guy, and she said it was her biggest audience growth ever. When you have this in this country, Don't be surprised when a psychopath tries to murder a man and his family. So shout out to Governor Shapiro for calling out the violence and condemning it, as he's done with a variety of instances. And he called out the university protests. This guy's going to run for president. He's going to run for president. But again, with the anti-Israel and anti-Jewish sentiment we see across the board, I don't see how this plays out well. There's a reason why they didn't think he could run in 2024. So we'll see, man. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all in the next bit.